Good morning, church. It is June 23rd, and you are at the AM Devo with Bo at almost 8 o'clock. So I had some things to get done today in a little bit, so I thought we'd do it an hour earlier. And we are doing chapter 14 today, so we're getting out of chapter 13. And I just love chapter 12 of Revelation. You know, you talk about Satan and kind of the grand scope of Satan to devour Israel. And then in chapter 13, you get this empire. And then and then you kind of narrow it down to even a prophet from that empire. That's how I see it anyway. And then you see, I love this idea of the image, that there's breath, there's life, that the people actually set up a image, and life is given to that image. And it reminds me so much of just where we first see the place of image in the Bible. In the very early stages of the book of Genesis, it says we are made in the image of God. Let us make man in our image. And in the image of man, or the image of God, he made them. And so when I see this, he was given power and breath to the image. Wow, that idea of breath, life, spirit. Could that be the personal Antichrist? Could that be the person that people heap up for themselves, a teacher? Because it's really neat. It says the people actually, he ordered the beast, it says the inhabitants of the earth were deceived, and he ordered them to set up an image, and life, spirit was given, and that image is in the image of the Antichrist empire for sure. And wow, you just this whole chapter 12 and 13 to me just really is awesome. And we really ended on this idea of name, and this thing's throughout the book of Revelation. If you just kind of pull out the book of Revelation and just look up name, you'll really see how the word name is used. We're going to see this again later on in the book of Revelation, just as it says about this Antichrist system of chapter 13, that there's a name of the beast, right? The name of the beast of this Antichrist system again. We're going to see there's names for the people of God too. And again, I want you to see that there's always this antithesis thing going on in the book of Revelation. There's always this opposite. Whatever God does, the Antichrist system has its version of it too. And they are contrary to one another, so religious contrary to one another that they call each other blasphemies. You know, so that's what I want you to see, is that this end time surrounding Israel nation empire will see the idea of Jesus and the Father as blasphemous, and those that believe in the Father and the Son will see their system as blasphemous. And it is just woo. And the name of the beast is something that is a title for them, and yet God has his title too, and we're going to see that later on even more. But already there's been promises that you know about the name of God and that kind of idea, and we bear the name. So very, very cool stuff, you know, to study and to get into. And it says, then I looked, and there before me was the Lamb standing on Mount Zion, and with him 144,000 who had his name and his Father's name. Again, name, right? What is it exactly? I don't know, but it says the name of the Father's name is written on there, and the Son's name is written on there. Again, you have now, in just right after the mark of the beast, right? This mark, this name, right? The number of his name. right? This blasphemous name that is on the beast, right? Remember that he had blasphemous names on his heads, things that were in religious opposition to the things of God. Right after that, it says you have the Lamb, and you have standing on Mount Zion. Mount Zion is another really cool study. Holy Mount Zion. It reminds me of Bob Marley songs actually growing up, but Mount Zion is not only there's a heavenly Mount Zion, and then we see there's also a earthly Mount Zion. And if you do your Bible study, you're going to kind of come up with these ideas that there's a heavenly Jerusalem, and then there's an earthly Jerusalem. Which one is this? I don't know. Both. Let's just say both. That's what my first pastor says. It means it's both. And I looked in there before me, Mount Zion, and with him 144,000. We were introduced to these 144,000 Jews back in chapter 7. After the four horsemen, we had this sealing of the 144,000 Jewish people. And so why not take that literally, since there are 144,000 Jewish people from the tribes that are mentioned. So we see again, God is really working with the people of Israel, and he has them sealed. He has them set apart for a mission. And no one's going to touch them during this time. No harm will be done to them, this 144,000. And remember, they have the name. They bear the name. They have the marking. They have the creed. They have the they're identified with the Father and the Son. And that's what I think is so, I use that word ticking off, but that's what's so vile to the Antichrist system, is this name of the Father and the Son, that God is a Father and that he has a Son. So it's specifically right after the mark of the beast, the name of the beast, that whole idea. You have the name of the Father and the Son on the foreheads. Hopefully I've driven that point on. And just so you know that God's got his peeps, and I've told you that before, and we can just rest in that. Even during this time, and I heard a sound from heaven like the roar of rushing waters, and like a loud peal of thunder. The sound I heard was like that of harpists playing their harps. Sounds so weird, huh? And all I could think about is how diverse God is. The sound of thunder is loud. Super duper loud. I mean, we've all in Tucson, when that thing pops, man, about around your home, it is, man, the whole place rumbles. It is scary. And if you're outside and that thing goes, wow. And then rushing water. Now, I've been to some waterfalls in my life, and it's neat to hear them. Not, what you hear is them hit, the pool, and depending on the depth of that pool, you really can hear what that water sounds like, the rushing water. Now, I've never been to Niagara Falls, but I've certainly got on YouTube before and checked that out. And what a sight that is, to see a river and the falls that are like that, and the noise level of that is just pretty. It sounds like really intense. And so we get that. And then notice it says, the sound I heard was like that of harpists playing their harps. So this is maybe where we get our cartoons with the little fat pigs, playing their harps, strumming it. But the sound I heard was like that of harpists playing their harps. You get the idea of organized frequencies, organized tones, right? Harps are beautiful instruments, by the way, and they're tuned a certain way, so that when you strike it, it's playing a chord, meaning things are already set or wound. The strings are already wound to a certain frequency, so you can, pluck it and it makes a beautiful noise. Where like you get a guitar, and if you just strummed a guitar, if you just hit all the strings of a guitar, it's not going to sound like much. It's going to sound kind of blah blah. And it's because it's not tuned. All the strings aren't tuned to just a chord to where you, if you just smacked your neck of the guitar and the strings ring, you know, it's not going to sound good. But you could actually tune your guitar to a chord. So you take the frequencies and you change them on the tension of the string, and you could strike it and it'd make it a cool sound. And here you get the idea that there's not only amazing loudness and just like, man, incredible quickness of sound, but you get the idea that there is those tones kind of bring about a smoothness to it as well. Because when you hear harps, and it's just super smooth, right, of a sound. And I love listening to any kind of like orchestra, and if it has a harp in it, like Claude Debussy, any kind of French impressionistic music might have that kind of harp sound in it. It can be really beautiful. You know, it is beautiful. So it says, and they sang a new song before the throne and before the four living creatures and the elders. And this is beautiful. I love old worship music, but there's always neat when there's a new song and you learn new words, right? Something new. But notice this, 144,000 are the ones that know the song. It's something special for them. God's got something special for people. And that's kind of neat. There's, we always love to be someone's special someone. And God has something special for you. Is a kind of a neat idea, that you're not just, we're not just all there. And I know that there's that idea of we're all equal, but yet there's differences that in relationship, and those are to be praised and not discouraged. And I think people who have kids understand this, is that every kid is different. And even though parents go, hey, I treat all my kids the same, well, there's something in us that knows that every kid, because of their temperament and the way they are, it balances with what we do as parents and how we go about things and what we do or what we say or how we discipline or how we encourage, those type of things. And there's nothing wrong with that. Everything's special. They're special, And so just because I think everybody is of the same human value, they all have the human value, it doesn't mean I don't treat my wife different from other people. She's special, and we shouldn't discourage that. There should be an encouragement to those things. There's many factors into relationships. And so we shouldn't just simplify them with statements like, oh, we'll treat everyone equally, and then not define what that literally means, how that really looks. And that's for a discussion, a multiple of discussions, and maybe even a multiple of books on those issues, and I'm sure there is. Now these are those who did not defile themselves with women, for they kept themselves pure. Interesting, right? So the idea of, it's kind of it sounds very Old Testament to me, very kind of Deuteronomy-ish, military-ish, maybe even during the time of King David, where before they go to war, they aren't with women. But the interesting word is defile to me. The idea of defilement is the idea of going into uncharted territories, areas of sinful worship. Especially when I hear that word defile, I think of serving non-Yahweh, and doing non-Yahweh religious practices. That really hits me, that kind of idea of defilement in the Old Testament. Worshipping false deities, right? Coming against them. And it says, these are those who did not defile themselves with women, for they kept themselves pure. So I don't think the issue so much is that if you have sex, you're defiled, because there's many places in the Bible that really praise the relationship between a man and a woman and holy matrimony. But obviously there's something with that word defile. They did not defile themselves. And it says they follow the Lamb wherever he goes. They were purchased from among men and offered as first fruits to God. So another interesting thing, these 144,000 Jewish people were purchased. They were redeemed, right? So they were purchased out from among men, picked from among men, and they were offered at first fruits. First fruits, remember, that was always, think of the Exodus, right? And God, one of the judgments was that the first fruit, the firstborn of Egypt would die in the last plague. And then after that, God set up a law that said the firstborn of everything will be mine. And so this is a part of the covenant with Israel and the Lord, that the first fruits would be first fruits of cattle, first fruits of economic first fruits, of the harvest, and that would all be dedicated to God. So it's the idea of the first fruits again being dedicated to God. These 144,000 would be a special first fruits offering, if you will, to God during this time. Something special, something unique, and probably something amazing to see, something to watch, something absolutely just trippy and just amazing to see these people's zeal and passion for the Lord. And now think of the tribulation, and you think of the amount of trial that's going on the planet, and then you think of all of a sudden you have 144,000 zealous, on fire, redeemed, purchased, chosen Jews that are Hebrews that are praising Christ, and they have the Son and the Father's name on them, right, on their foreheads, right, in direct opposition to the Antichrist system. And so they are strutting their stuff with the Father and the Son. They got Father and Son t-shirts going on. They got Father and Son tattoo going on their head. And it's just, it's blowing up, right? They would stand out like a sore thumb, right? And it says, no lie was found in their mouths. They are blameless. What a great line, too. Man, what a wonderful line. No lie. Oh, man. No deception or anything like that. Gosh, that's just, you read that and you just, I don't know about you, but when you read no lie was found in their mouth, I kind of go, wow, dude, that's awesome. That's like amazing. Like none? No lie. I mean, these people were specially chosen by the Lord, a special group of people. Then I saw another angel flying in midair, and he had the eternal gospel to proclaim to those who live on the earth, to every nation, tribe, language, and people. And that's what we have on the earth, by the way, right? We don't have race. We just have every nation, tribe, language, and people. That's what we have. And give him glory, because the hour of his judgment has come. Worship him who made the heavens and the earth, the sea and the springs of water. And so this is declared, it says, by an angel flying midair with the eternal gospel, proclaiming these things. What does he proclaim? He proclaims another opportunity for the earth to change, to make a decision, to not take the image, the mark, right, the name, to not go, to not bear the image of the Antichrist, the God of this system of war, this religion of war. We're going to see this economic wealthy area that has fed the entire world its riches, and the nations have gotten rich off of her riches. This nation that will have an amazing hatred towards the sonship and the fathership of God, and this nation this empire that will surround Israel. They're going to have an opportunity to repent. And so it says that those who live on the earth in every nation, this is going to go for everybody, right? Everybody's going to hear this proclamation. Really radical to think of. But obviously with our phones and with our internet systems, we can definitely do this today. And so, hey, we're going to stop there, and we'll pick up in verse 8 next time. And really cool start, though. Really kind of a little bit of a happy morning, because we kind of moved away a little bit from chapter 13 and into 14. So we get a load of Jesus again, hanging out with this crew, and really reaching out to the earth. So always remember that God is a reaching God. He's always reaching out to you. You know, do you have eyes to see? Do you have ears to hear? That's always the question for us. You know, he who has an ear, let him hear. Jesus said that. And such an important statement, such an important thing for us to ponder too this morning. So you guys have a great day, and take care. Bye-bye.